Children,
Yeah, please start.
okay. Today's topic is inclusive growth, issues arising from it. You see, inclusive growth is a wide term, isn't it? So here, first of all, we are going to know the meaning and definition of inclusive growth. Inclusive growth means equal distribution of wealth and income. Simply, in simple parlance, we can call it as a equal distribution of income and wealth among all the individuals of the society, isn't it? So here, distributed fairly across the society to create opportunities to every individual of the society, isn't it? So this is called inclusive growth. One more meaning is that is the inclusive growth given by the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This is the international organization. This organization is working for the inclusive growth seriously across the countries, across the globe, across the continents. Next, even World Bank also mentioned that inclusive growth refers to both the pace and pattern of growth. Pace means speed. Pattern means how it including rich and poor. Pace, not only fastness, not only speedness, but also coverage also very, very important as per the World Bank is concerned, which are interlinked and must be addressed together. Pace and growth, pace and pattern are to be interlinked and studied fairly, addressed together is a aim of World Bank. Next, United Nations Development Program (UNDP). It is the agency of UNO. Describe the inclusive growth as a process and outcome where all groups of people have participated in growth, have benefited reliably, equitably from it. You see, all should participate in the activity, all should get the benefit equitably. It is called inclusive growth, in simple, isn't it? So here, inclusive growth entails comprehensive growth, shared growth, and pro-poor growth. Comprehensive, it covers everyone, everything. Shared growth means they need to share. And pro-poor growth, here, till today also, the concern of the world leaders or world prominent economies, including of USA, France, Japan, Germany, Italy, any country you take, the concern, cause of concern is inclusive growth. Rich become richer day by day, poor become poorer day by day due to lack of issues. So all these issues are to be settled. All these are issues are to be addressed under this inclusive growth, hasn't it? Next, it lessens the fast growth rate of poverty in country and unsuggests the participation of people into development of the country. It is also very important. Lessens the fast growth rate of poverty. Here, this inclusive growth lessens the fast state of poverty. What is the meaning of fast state of poverty? Here, rate of poverty in India is very high, hasn't it? So this is controlled by what we call inclusive growth concept itself only, hasn't it? Next, impartial allocation of resources with benefit incurred to every section of the society. So here, allocation of resources must be everyone, not partial. Impartial means equally distributed to everyone. isn't it? So now this impartial distribution of economic resources to every section of the society. But these allocation must be intended for short-term and long-term benefits of the society, such as availability of consumer goods, people access, employment, standard of living, etc. These are very, very essential, important. You see, while allocating the resources, government need to see whether it is a short-term purpose or long-term purpose, isn't it? So here, these short-term and long-terms are very, very essential, important from the point of view of the inclusive growth. This is the meaning and definition of inclusive growth, isn't it? Please go through the notes which I have supplied to you, isn't it? Now, teachers, are you following me? Neha, Shanmukh, Vishnu
Yes, sir.
Kumar, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we are discussing right now, inclusive growth. What is the meaning? A small, simple meaning of inclusive growth means equitable distribution of income and wealth to all the sections of the society, irrespective of their social strata. Clear? Are you following me? Next. Coming to the features. First of all, lot of constraints are there in reaching poorest of the poor sections, marginalized sections. Hurdles or constraints. All these hurdles or constraints are to be removed. In the previous class, we discussed about the food security, how government of India is providing food to the poorest of the poor sections of the society, isn't it? So like this, in all the areas, we are going to discuss how these hurdles, how these obstacles are to be overcome to reach the poorest of the poor strata of society. Next, participation. From the point of view of the participation, we need to ensure that participation should be by all, not some people, isn't it? Either political participation, economic participation, financial participation, everything must be made by all, everyone, isn't it? Number three, reduction in disparities among per capita income between different sections of the society or economy, different sections of the society, rural and urban areas, different genders. Now you see different sections of economy. In economy, lot many sections are there. Agriculture sector, isn't it? Sectors, our industrial sector and tertiary sector. There is a vast gap between the in per capita income of tertiary sector, agriculture sector, industrial sector. Tertiary sector and the other industry sector are dominating. They are getting more share from the income. But agriculture sector still it is dragging behind. So that's why we need to give emphasis for the development of agriculture sector. Next, different sections of the society, you see. In the sections of the society means actually India is a country divided on the number of criteria, caste, religion, social status, etc., etc. Now, from coming to the point of view of the social status, it is a rich versus poor, backward classes, SCs, STs, like that. In the same way, rural and urban. In our poverty and hunger, poverty lesson we discussed. What is the required food for the rural and urban people. As they are not getting, they are considered as a people who are under the below poverty line, BPL people, isn't it? Okay. Genders also. In our previous class, we discussed that women, especially children below the age of 10, girls, and women, old age women, they're vulnerable means a lot of pressure, tension happens, and if anything happens to them. In the natural calamities also, they are only become the prey for the natural calamities, isn't it? Next, non-discriminatory. It is not discriminatory, isn't it? It is totally non-discriminatory. And this concept is going to give you the total information about higher potential of poverty reduction. The total inclusive growth means poverty reduction program. Simply all poverty reduction programs. Next, infrastructure, basic infrastructure facilities like road, health, education, etc. Next, this inclusive growth include poor, not only poor, lagging socioeconomic groups and lagging regions as well as their partners in the growth. So here, those who are lagging behind means they are not in a position to walk with other sections of the society, isn't it? So all these are the features. In simple meaning, we can make that participating in the economic activity by all the individuals with a true spirit is called inclusive growth. These are the important feature of inclusive growth. Now, what are there in the inclusive growth elements? In the inclusive growth, the most important thing is skill development. You know what is the meaning of skill development? From the workforce point of view, employees or workers are classified into three groups: unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled. A person who is having the perfect knowledge about any technology is called skilled, isn't it? So partial knowledge about the technology is called application of technology, usage of technology is called semi-skilled. A person who don't have any knowledge about the usage and application of skill is called unskilled. In India, like countries, unskilled workers, unskilled employees are more than the skilled and semi-skilled. We need to convert unskilled into skilled and semi-skilled, isn't it? So for that purpose, we need to provide employment or training and employment opportunities to the rural youth, isn't it? According to recent survey, economic survey 2017, 30% of rural India are NEET. NEET means not in education, employment, or training, isn't it? 30% of people you see youth. Youth means those who are in the age between 20 to 35. This is a youth age, isn't it? 30% of people are NEET means not in education, employment, and training. So the importance of training, employment, and education is very, very important. So for that purpose, we need to make this inclusive growth as a challenging one, isn't it? Next, the next one is financial inclusion. Financial inclusion means we need to provide basic facilities or basic information to all the citizens, isn't it? In the previous class, we discussed about the insurance sector, banking sector. Under the financial inclusion itself only, Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana. Did you can you recall the last week class, Vishnu Kumar? Did we discuss about the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana or not?
Sir, actually, I was absent in the last class. Sir.
Aditi, Shanmukha. Okay. So here, financial inclusion means providing banking facilities to poorest of the poor without any security, isn't it? So these self-help group people, those who are open the bank account with various banks, will get the minimum of 5,000 rupees and as advance or a token loan to make a development activity, started their development activity, isn't it? This is called financial inclusion under the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana program, isn't it? Next. Technological advancement. Now you see here, every time we are going on seeing the mobile or what we call technology updation. If you don't update your mobile technology, what will happen? Your mobile won't work. In the same way, world is moving towards the industrial revolution 4.0, isn't it? So here, to reach the world pace, we need to restart our economic activity, our technological involvement, advancement, isn't it? So for that purpose, previous class also we discussed digital India, isn't it? Make in India, isn't it? So lot many schemes we are adapting and we are going towards the reaching the technological advancement of world pace. Next, economic growth. You see, India is a country where economic growth is happening very fast, hasn't it? Before 2014, it was 8.0. After 2014, through a number of reasons, our growth rate is reducing, isn't it? In 2019, 20, 21 also, due to this pandemic situation, all our financial activities stopped. But we are marching towards the $5 trillion economy. You know what is the meaning of trillion? How many of you know about the trillion? $1 trillion economy. Atidi, Shanmukh, what is the name? How many zeros are there for trillion?
Sir?
Trillion. How many zeros will be there?
12 zeros, sir.
Huh?
12.
12 zeros. Million 6, billion 9, trillion 12 zeros. 12 zeros means 1 lakh crore. 1 lakh 5 zeros, crore 7 zeros na? Trillion means in our language it is called 1 lakh crore, isn't it? Presently, we are hailing between 2.5 to 2.75 trillion dollars. Now, our aim is to convert our economy into $5 trillion economy. $5 trillion means 5 into 75 rupees dollar now. 375 trillion rupees economy. Clear? Isn't it? If we convert it into the rupees, it is $375 trillion, trillion rupees, isn't it? Next, social development. Here, coming to the point of view of the social development, lot much social strata, SC, ST, OBC, minority, women, transgenders, all these are the various components of our society, isn't it? So we need to develop these all these people for this purpose. Especially we require to concentrate on education. Schools are to be developed, universities are to be developed, isn't it? As per the requirement, India requires 2,000 universities, but at present only 1,000 universities are available, isn't it? So our Population is not in a position to get even access to education also, hasn't it? Coming to the health, the number of hospitals are required, primary health centers, not only in cities, but also in villages also, these are to be required, hasn't it? So for that purpose, it is very, very essential, isn't it? So all these are the elements of inclusive growth. In addition to that elements, agriculture development is required, poverty eradication already discussed, equal distribution of income, social sector development, reduction in rural disparities. All rural areas are not equally provided facilities. Some rural areas are having the good facilities, other rural areas are not having the facilities. Industrial development, all industries are concentrated in low cities only. In China-like countries, all industries are developed in village areas. As a result, people are getting employment. And industry people are getting the cheap labor. As a result, they are producing the quality goods at cheaper rates only. Next, environment protection. We need to protect our environment without disturbing the existing environment. We need to go for production activities, employment generation, isn't it? So all these are the elements of inclusive growth. Inclusive growth not confined to either urban area, either rural area, either industrial sector or agriculture sector. It includes everyone, every sector, every society, every strata of the society. Isn't it? Clear? Are you following me? Shanmukh,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Neha, Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
are you following me?
Yes,
Next,
sir.
next is the need for economic inclusive growth. What is the need for this inclusive growth means? You see here, India is a country. You know, India follows democracy or autocracy. Tell me, Vishnu. India is a democratic country, autocratic country. Tell me.
Democratic, sir.
Democratic. Why it is a democratic country?
People
We are
choose
electing our
the
representative democracy ours, isn't it? So internal our representatives are making the laws for our growth and development, isn't it? And you know, India lives in villages. 6.5 lakh villages are there in India, isn't it? So here, fruits of the democracy should be reached to rural people. For that purpose, inclusive growth is very, very essential, isn't it? So the challenge of Indian government lays on distribution of growth fruits of democracy to the poorest of the poor or lowest of the lowest sections of the society. It is one of the important need for the inclusive growth, isn't it? Number two, as the government is multi-dimensional, taking multi-dimensional steps approach towards education, skill development, employment, knowledge, including of this providing of facilities like infra facilities like roads, railways, isn't it? Ports, airways, all this, isn't it? So these are the very, very essential need, isn't it? You know, India is from industrialization point of view, seventh largest country, population point of view, second largest country, and lot much gap is there. Simply we should not satisfy with our number, seventh largest country and second largest country in terms of industrialization, in terms of population. But still, there is a lot of disparity, lot of variations are prevailing. So these variations and disparities are to be addressed, isn't it? Next. poverty. One of the important challenging of Indian economy is poverty. So poverty retards growth. Growth is retarded by the poverty, affected by the poverty. So here, for that purpose, this number of committees are appointed. Tendulkar committee opinions that 22% of population still under the living under the poverty line. So this is to be addressed with the various measures. And rapid industrialization, rapid growth is very essential important. Present growth is not sufficient to meet the requirement of our Indian population. We need at least 8% growth rate, but due to number of reasons all over the world, growth rate is retarding. Growth rate is not happening, isn't it? So growth rate also one of the important necessary. For that growth rate, we require financial inclusion or inclusive growth. Next, micro dimension. You know what is the meaning of micro dimension and macro dimension? Overall economy is called macro, like nation income, nation production, etc. But microeconomy means individual, how individual income, how individual expenditure pattern like that. This is called microeconomy. So here, micro approach, micro dimension is required concentration of inclusive growth, isn't it? Number one more important thing is inclusive growth has to combine, include all the sections of the society, isn't it? So sections means coming to the sections, social structure sections, SPs, rural population, rural poor, urban poor. In the rural area, the landless labor will be there. In urban area, this dwellers of slums, isn't it? Those who don't have the confirmed income, etc. Isn't it? So these sections also very important. Agriculture also very important, isn't it? One of the important social movements which are happening in India is recently JATs. You know, some sort of agitations are going on against the three formulas brought by the government of India, rural for all farmers of Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan. They fought against the government of India, and government of India realized and they repealed the law. But before that also, some social sections, Jats of Haryana and Rajasthan, they demanded for the reservation, isn't it? So, lot many demands are there in the various sections of the society for the reservations, isn't it? Next, one more important thing is labor productivity. Productivity means the relation between the input and output is called productivity. The capacity of an individual labor to make an output is called productivity, isn't it? So some races are more productive, some races are less productive. So we need to increase the labor productivity with the help of the financial inclusion. Next, access to education, health, and one more important thing is regional inequalities. In India, all the regions are not developed. If you compare the South India and North India is underdeveloped. South India is well developed. There is a prevailing large gap between North India and South India. That's it. Already number of times I shared with you BMARU states. What is the mean BMARU state? Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. These states are having rampant poverty and more than 50% of population are poor, isn't it? If we come into the West India, East India, like seven small states, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, um, Assam, all these states are having the Himalaya region, isn't it? So there is no possibility for the growth. Government is trying to maximum to bring some of the areas in the railway map of India. Means there is no proper railway lines also to reach this particular areas, isn't it? So, but coming to the West India and South India, it is very developed. In West India, Gujarat and Maharashtra will be there. In South India, we people, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, doesn't it? So all these states are well-developed states. So the development is to be taken on the regional basis. All regions are to be developed equally or simultaneously, isn't it? And financial inclusion, already we discussed in the previous class itself only. Financial inclusion means opening of bank accounts under Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, and those who require the bank loan without any security, they can get the money from the bank, nominal of 5,000 rupees, isn't it? And one more thing, corruption. Corruption is rampant in India from top to bottom. This is also one of the important issue. And political leadership plays very important role in growth and development of the country. But implementation of many schemes is poor due to the lack of political will. So in India, political will is very important. Will, the political will means if political people make it, feel it, it is everything is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible in India like country, isn't it? Next, the importance of inclusive growth is the indispensable for the sustainable growth, isn't it? So inclusive growth is very, very important for sustainable growth. Sustainable growth means growth for not only present, for future also. If we include everyone, automatically it will go for future. Next, one more important challenge in India is global warming, climate change. Already in the previous class we discussed about that, isn't it? So here, global warming and climate changes affect the poor of more, and as a result, they are displaced. Frankly speaking, they are displaced, isn't it? And they're disturbed. Further, it increases the disparities between the rich and poor. Already present situation is having a lot of disparity. These two, global warming and climate change, are making further worse, isn't it? Next. So recent report, 18 indicators are indicated in 2015, suggests that out of 18 indicators, India is on track only for 4 indicators. Out of 18 indicators, they are given, 18 indicators are given, but only 4 indicators, on the 4 indicators it is doing good. Remaining all 14 indicators is not doing good, hasn't it? Next. The inclusive growth approach takes huge perspective for the focus on its productive employment instead of direct income distribution. It means the increasing income for
This meeting will end, sir, in a minute. Shall we join again?
okay.
Please join again. Charan, don't annotate.